Well, welcome everyone to our live Q&A about Iambic Pentameter with Christy Burgess. I'm Deb Gasper, the General Manager for Shakespeare at Notre Dame. And welcome everyone, we're happy to have you here.
Hi everybody, my name is Christy Burgess. I am the Shake Scenes Coordinating Director for the Notre Dame Shakespeare Festival, as well as the Director for the Robinson Shakespeare Company. And thank you so much for everybody who's watching.
I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and I wonder if you have questions or comments, please feel free to add it in, and we will field your questions and tell us what your favorite Iambic Pentameter line is. Christy, what's your favorite?
Oh man, put me on the spot. I think I covered a lot of them. I think my favorite is "But soft what light through yonder window breaks." You know, it's such a beautiful line, you know, that comes at like a cool moment in the play. I'm curious if anyone came up with their own Iambic Pentameter line, and if you did, I really want to hear it, where you get your hands out and you give something. I love teaching this because I always get questions from the kids or comments from them, and I'll ask them like, what should we do it? And it'll be your favorite pet or your favorite food or your date of birth. I think, as I said in the video. Deb, did you have a line that you created?
I didn't create one, but you know what? We could do that.
Okay, you pick food, animals, or date of birth.
Let's not talk about date of birth. Let's talk about animals. Let's talk about my dog.
Scarlet. Okay, what's your dog's name?
Scarlet.
Ooh, so we have to get into 10 syllables. Is she a good dog? Is she naughty?
She is a great dog. Best dog I've ever had.
Oh. Deb's dog is named Scarlet, and she's awesome.
Good one.
How about you? Do you have one for, and by the way, talking about like dogs, like I've got this little interloper who's like down there trying to get up and does not understand that my lap is not for her the whole time. Guys, I'm sure if you remember nothing else from this Iambic Pentameter, you'll remember how cute Callie is.
Hi, Callie.
All right, so let's talk about Scarlet. So what do we have?
Okay, we have, I'm making one up? Is that what's happening? Oh. Scarlet, my dog, is red and runs around. Oh, nope, didn't work.
It's okay. Okay, let's see. Scarlet is my dog. She's red and runs fast.
Yes, there we go. Good one.
Yeah, I love that. I think this is such a great tool. I mean, just to like come up with that Iambic Pentameter sentence, because like when we think about when Shakespeare wrote, like the majority of it, I think, I mean, guys, you can always tell me if I'm wrong, but is in Iambic Pentameter, and to think about what you need to say and like everything, but doing it in that beautiful rhythm, I think is so interesting.
It is.
Sure, like high schoolers like have this thing where sometimes they have to write a sonnet, and I'll never forget helping the student Cassia, who's really struggling with it because she was trying to write it out. And so I'm like, put away the page, just get the rhythm first, and then it flows.
That's lovely. I wish I had that in high school. Now Shakespeare did not come up with Iambic Pentameter. That's correct, right?
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
In fact, I know that's correct.
Yeah.
It's always interesting doing Q&As because we're being so polite. Like, Deb, would you like to speak? Shall I speak?
I know.
I always like to say, like, Shakespeare did not invent, I mean, most of the plays he wrote, he just plagiarized them very well. And with Iambic Pentameter, I mean, we learn it, you know, because of the rhythm in his words. It's funny because I also think it really helps kids memorize because of that rhythm. And I'll never forget like having students who were speaking in prose, which is like just what we're talking now, who really struggled because they didn't have that rhythm to go along with. And it's hard. I think it's harder to memorize non-Shakespeare.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Deb, what was it like learning Shakespeare when you were in high school? Did you have somebody teach you Iambic Pentameter?
No, never. No. That was not a word or phrase I was familiar with at all. Wow. We read Romeo and Juliet, and that was it. I wish we had a theater component with it. It would have been a lot easier to, put the words with action and language and, make it feel real,
Yeah, I think
understand it. Yeah.
the tragedies of Shakespeare and how it's taught right now is just like looking down at the page, and that's not what it should be. Ooh, we have a question. Thank you for submitting that question. Is Iambic Pentameter found in all of Shakespeare? Yes, I believe that it is in every Shakespeare play. Now, not everybody speaks in Iambic Pentameter. Oftentimes, it's like the language of the lovers or the language of higher court. When you have servants and whatnot, they very rarely, I think, speak. Oh my God, and guys, if I'm getting this wrong, I'm so sorry. Like, bad information. But they rarely speak in Iambic Pentameter because it's that heightened language.
Thanks for that.
Oh my God, I love this. I love this so much. Thank you so much, Dee, for submitting your Iambic Pentameter sentence. Deb, get your hands out.
Oh, got him.
Tootsie Roll and Snickers are my kitties. So they're adorable. I would honestly love to see pictures of them sometime.
That's awesome.
Anyone else have any sentences? I would love to hear them. I think I also mentioned, gosh, some of them stick with you that stay around for a long time. In Nome, again, April 20 was my day of, or wait, April 20, my mother spat me out. I mean, I don't know, like as a mom, like Deb, like how do you feel about that? But
yes.
Teaching in Nome, Alaska from all those years ago, I have never forgotten that Iambic Pentameter sentence.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So before we checked out the chat and got excited about Tootsie Roll and Snickers, I think that, Shakespeare wasn't meant to be read. It was meant to be heard. And, they used to say, I'm going to go hear a play and not see it. And sometimes when I'm directing, I don't necessarily watch. I just listen, because I think that the language has so much that's what we need to go off of. It's not just the action, it's hearing it. And I tell my kids, I should, if I spoke French, I didn't know English, I should be able to come in and know what you're feeling and hearing during that. Does Iambic Pentameter, we have another question, I love this. Does Iambic Pentameter allow for movement in the plays or blocking? I'm not sure what that means. I think absolutely, you can move while you're speaking. And I would look at whatever is inspired by the character, and sometimes when I direct, I might direct a scene a certain way. And then I'll say to my actors, I'm like, I feel like you want to move during this part. And they'll be like, I do want to move. And I think it's important for people to follow those instincts. One of the reasons why I like Shakespeare is because it's such a blank slate. There's not a right way to do it. My company doesn't have a ton of money or production value. And I tell the kids, you should be able to wear all black clothes and do this in an empty stage and have it be good Shakespeare.
Exactly. Yes. I agree.
Sorry, my husband is in the kitchen and watching me, and I'm just gonna turn this a little bit so you guys can see him. You can also see my very yellow kitchen. But what are you doing there?
I'm sorry. I was just
We should put him on the spot and ask him what his sentence is.
Hey, sweetheart, love of my life.
What?
If you had, give your hands out and give me a 10-syllable Iambic Pentameter sentence. Guys, what do you think? Should we do our dogs?
No, I got it.
All right, go for it. Let me see your hands.
I do not know what to say to you.
Very good.
If you guys don't know this, my husband is also an amazingly nerdy Shakespearean, just like his wife. We are quite the pair. But as for a blocking, again, Shakespeare is such a blank slate that there's not, I feel a right or wrong way to do it. That's why we have The Tempest on the Moon. I'll set my plays in the 80s or gosh, the Wild West, that there's so much that you can do where Iambic Pentameter doesn't necessarily inform your blocking, it's your character's motivation. Mm-hmm. But I do think that you can use the Iambic Pentameter to see where your character's motivation is. What are those important words that are stressed that you want to hit? How is it different? If you look at to be or not to be, that is a question. It's not to be or not to be, that is a question. is
Right.
looking at what that is. You know, where are the important words in that sentence? And I think with Iambic Pentameter, it gives you, it's almost like Shakespeare, the secret director. Like, what is he trying to say with that? Where are the important words? Does that make sense?
Yes. I also think it's nice to watch not only the Notre Dame Shakespeare Festival perform with, all of the production quality that we provide, but also our other company, AFTLS, where they break it down and they have such a small amount of, costume pieces and sets. And then it's all about the language, and they use that iambic pentameter in their rehearsals and their performance. It's really wonderful. It's all about the language.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, again, you don't want to sound like Dr. Seuss when you go up. You don't want to be like, to be or not to be, because then it's just like, it's too much. It's almost like when you have that piano music and that rhythm is there, but it's not like overpowering. I think that you have to get it and then you have to take it back. Like for me, I'm dyslexic and I really struggle with memorizing lines. And so honestly, what I do is I write my lines out. There's lots of different ways to memorize things, but that's what helps it stick in my head. But also to get the rhythm, sometimes I will stomp like around my house. I will stomp on where there is stresses. And I think that for me is really helpful to kind of get it into my body. Oh my gosh, I am excited. Christy Burgess is the love of my life. Oh, Diego, I don't know who Chris is, but very lucky person. That is absolutely lovely.
That's great.
I love the fact that this is our first time with live chats. And yes, we are live. Yes, we are aware we are live. This is new for us. Thank you guys for being patient.
Yes.
Deb, were you in any Shakespeare plays like growing up?
No. I wasn't an actor. I was always backstage, always stage managing, props, things like that. Now I have done a ton of Shakespeare as a stage manager, just over and over again. So
what was your favorite Shakespeare play that you worked on and why?
okay, good question. Because it was actually, I mean, there are so many in between, but because this one kind of shaped my life, it was a college, it was As You Like It. And the set design was phenomenal. It was a unit set, but the forest was so beautiful. It was papered with like colored construction paper, and it was I think that was my first Shakespeare that I was staging. Yes. And when you're in college, you're so close to all of your friends, and you become comrades throughout life, and they're still my friends. So that As You Like It, I will never forget. And that sort of shaped me moving forward, doing so much Shakespeare as well.
Nice. I think that my favorite show that I saw was Bart Shear's Cymbeline in Seattle. I think this was like in '99 or something. And he had a red rake stage, and it was so beautiful. I mean, that was the set, was this red rake stage. And there was this moment, the first part was set, it was very like kabuki-esque. And then the second part was set in the Wild West. And there was one moment right before intermission where there was music playing, and they had the Marlboro Man go up, and with this lighted thing, I don't even know what it was. It was blowing smoke rings, and we were laughing and cheering. And then all of a sudden, Imogen turns around and says, "And bring him home to me." And we all just started to cry.
Oh,
It was such a beautiful moment. And, I'm really inspired by Peter Brook, who believes that all you need for theater is an empty space. And I believe that is that red rake stage, or, just laying down a carpet. You can have theater anywhere.
exactly.
You can do Shakespeare anywhere. All you need is the language.
Yep.
All you need is that understanding. You don't need costumes. You don't need anything fancy. It's a wonderful blank slate for a reason.
Exactly.
Sometimes we look at I get asked like, why Shakespeare a lot. And my answer is like, if we do a play like Arthur Miller or Eugene O'Neill, it's the world through their eyes. It's their perspective. But Shakespeare is the world through our eyes, because we can move it and make the words in the play so malleable. I love it. And the interpretation is almost like the Bible, where you can take one passage and look at it, gosh, who knows how many ways.
Exactly. And it pertains to life now, right? I mean, many of the plays, they just do, you know, they speak to children going through tough times in their life, you know?
It gives them an emotional vocabulary
Mhm.
where, you know, and it's also safe. It's enough away from them where it's like they feel comfortable putting themselves in it, because it is an other. So if you are having a tough time, if you are happy or sad and you're not necessarily comfortable expressing those emotions, this is a way to, I feel like, practice your emotions, especially with some of the teenagers I work with, in this really safe, great way where you also get to tell a wonderful story.
Yeah, I agree. And if we do not have any more questions, I think we are at time. Do you have anything else you want to add, Christy,
Thank you
before
guys
we?
so much for watching and for asking questions. And I hope it was enjoyable and you learned a little something.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your educational session. We really appreciate it. And tune in next week. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.